O my beloved ones, I awake you this day, and I put you in remembrance of what happens to the enemy Satan sends his way. I remind you of names long forgotten, yet they are not forgotten by YAHUVEH. To protect your emotions from these treacherous, painful memories, you block them out, but only I know the pain that they've caused. Yet I use this Elizabeth for my glory, to prove to Satan over again and again that neither for fame nor fortune, and even your own life being threatened again and again, the suffering you endured from the hand of Satan, yet you would not betray me, you would not sell me out, you did not give this ministry to Satan. The words that your enemies speak hurt Yahushua oh so deep. How dare any enemy cross the bloodline to say, this ministry serves Satan, and accuse you of being a false prophet and leading souls to Satan. You pray they repent, but my dear one, judgment was already sent. Although the enemies, especially lukewarm Christians, only want prophecies that soothe their itching ears, they are angry when you speak forth my warnings to repent. You tell them to stop having a form of holiness, but there is no holiness within. Just like with King Saul, the spirit of insanity took hold as he continued to persecute and harm David of old. These enemies are filled with dark demons of hatred for this ministry and all who are holy before me. The evil shepherds lie and confused, trying to turn my sheep and lambs away from you, because you speak forth my truth. Woe be unto all who will stand before an angry YAHUVEH on judgment day. The holy book shall be opened up, and all their names are listed, as those who betrayed, tried to destroy all that is holy. Some of my children are martyrs, and forced to die because of the enemies who hate me. For reward, they told slanderous lies. The enemies now, and in what is called the Great Tribulation, will betray even family members to death and torture. The enemies will fight now. Some will repent, run away from lawlessness, and be martyred for Yahushua's name's sake. Evil enemies you will meet and fight on spiritual Mount Carmel. These enemies' works of evil shall be judged, just like the false prophets of Baal. I will use you as I did Elijah of old when the time comes, for I call you my Elijah of new. Many of the enemies who attack you now and in the future will sell their soul like a Judas did, with 30 pieces of silver, and receive the mark of the beast for all to see. Warn them now, this is an unforgivable sin. Reprobate souls who mock and hate all that is holy will wear Jeremiah chapter 6 verse 27 through 30. And my wrath shall cover them fully. There are no accidents as to who finds this ministry. Some will be the bride of Yahushua HaMashiach. Some will be the guests of the marriage supper of the Lamb. Some will be the enemies of your soul, for they are my enemies. For all will be tested. All who come to AMIGHTYWIND ministry, all who read or listen to one word from it, are being tested. How they receive you is how they receive me. They can deceive others, but what they sow they shall reap. Everyone needs to pray and ask this question. Do they measure up to the measurement of holiness? Are they covered in the shed blood of Yahushua HaMashiach? Do they have the desire? And do they strive to obey my words in the Holy Scriptures and prophecies? Do they shrug their shoulders, cover their ears, and say, "Go away, I can sin all I want. No one can stop me. After all, Jesus Christ died and arose for me. If you tell me to repent and turn away from my sins, I will just curse you again." Children, do you not realize your fruit represents the way you live your life for Yahushua HaMashiach? You cannot live like the devil and say, "I claim I am a Christian, so grace and mercy will cover me anyway." I warn you now, you shall be hated, and your name spoken evil of, even when you minister in truth and love. The enemies, especially those who call themselves Christians, but that by their evil fruit, you know it is a lie. The enemies hate this prophet, and they hate all who are part of a Mighty Wind ministry. For I, Yahweh, will not allow the leadership who follows my footsteps to compromise with sin. Yahushua HaMashiach's bride will never compromise what they know to be true. They will get in the face of Satan and rebuke his servants' lies. Beloved children, I am pleased that you have rebuked sin and sinners who refuse to repent and turn away from their sin, and you refuse to be swayed by the sinner's lies. I tell you a secret in heaven. I have a golden jeweled book that has been designed just for each of my holy children who rebuke sin and sinners, who strive to obey and who rebuke Satan in Yahushua's name. Here is a secret. In your special book, there are names that you have long forgotten, as they mocked and persecuted, hated you without cause, when all you did for them was pray that they would forsake their sin. I, Yahweh, have each tear that you shed in a jeweled vial, with the holy angel tending to it. And when you're persecuted for Yahushua HaMashiach's name's sake, know as the evil tried to judge and accuse you, I, Yahweh, have judged some vicious enemies of yours as you prayed, and will continue to judge them. The holy who cry to me, "Deliver me from the hand of these evil enemies," shall be delivered. Elizabeth, many of your most vicious enemies are in hell now, for by my hand I let them live long enough to dig their own grave with their tongue. They keep piling up their unrepented sins until they symbolically reach the level of hell which I foreknew they would descend. You did not hear from them anymore, because I, Yahweh, delivered you from the hand of the enemies who tried to take your life, and I removed them when you least expected it from the face of this earth. Some of you know the names of Andrew Ray and Bobby Martin's just named two, for you heard they had died. Other enemies you are battling, take scriptures and twist them and say this ministry is a hate ministry. Foolish men and women, do they not know it is not her hate for sin, it is I, Yahweh's for sin. For every unrepented sin there's a price to pay. The enemies are digging with their mouths now to the level of hell they will reside when they die, if they do not repent and turn away from this evil. Remember the man you called the educated fool? You put his letter before the world as he mocked all that is holy. You wrote him and told him as he persecuted you that he would not be alive next year at the same time. What you prophesied came to pass, and he died before that time. I sent you to warn him. He was sent to the ministry and he called it a curse. Taught his young son there's no need to fear God, because God does not exist. You warned him. He did not listen, and now he wishes he did. The educated fool who bragged to you his college degrees now is in hell, and has found out what you said was true, and he cries loudly, "Yahweh, I now believe in you." I could go into detail, but it would serve no purpose. Only know this, like dominoes, your enemies and the enemies of all Yahushua HaMashiach's bride will fall, as a Goliath never to rise again. Your enemies' lives have never been the same. For those who still live, there is still time to repent and humble yourselves and apologize. For when you try and destroy holy ministries like this and others, you do not touch a mere woman or man, you touch the apple of my eye. You who behave like a wolf in a sheepskin, who yell so loud, "Get away from a Mighty Wind ministry," I shall judge you as you chase the sheep and lambs astray. If you do not quickly repent and apologize for speaking forth evil, slanderous lies, admit you hated and touched the holy ministry, it is not your job to judge it, for this ministry is ordained by me. I, Yahweh, refuse to allow you, Elizabeth, to make excuses for them as they compromise with sin. When I show you a reprobate soul, do not pray that they repent, for they're only fit for my judgment.